It is Wednesday, May 19th,
Oh, you screwed it up.
2021. I screwed it up, man.
His first time.
My first time and I screwed it up. Do I get a do-over?
Yeah, sure. You know I'm going to put the
Live,
whole thing out there anyway.
Yeah, I know. All right. I am Scotty Smurf. That is Scott Salmons, and I am joined tonight by...
Alil Kanitsa.
We screwed that up too.
I said it first. Alil Kanitsa here.
And I'm Rob Southgate.
And tonight we have a theme for this. We are going to discuss the Disney 5 Star Wars. We're going to talk about the best ones, the worst ones, and everything in between. Rob, do you want to give the usual opening thing you have?
I don't really have a usual opening. This is for the patrons. So this is a Patreon-only show. So thank you so much for being a patron. One thing I do want to say up front about that, I guess I do have something, is if you have an idea for something that you'd like us to talk about, a movie or a TV show or something, write in. Let us know. When there's a new release that's out, like when Mortal Kombat was out, of course that's what we're going to talk about that week. But like this week, there wasn't a big release that was really worth doing. We can just do the news, but we've been having a lot of fun doing these kind of themed shows. So if there's something you're like, dude, I can't believe Alil never saw Logan's Run, tell us and we'll force him to watch it and we'll go through it a little bit.
You know that's true, right?
That you've never seen Logan's Run?
I've never watched it beginning to end, and if I did, it was probably like on Channel 9 back in the 80s when I was a kid and not paying attention. Like I
I've seen it many times.
I remember like snippets. Like I remember their costumes and stuff like that, but I couldn't even tell you what the movie's about.
So I take it you don't remember the scene where there's a lack of costume?
No.
Oh, my.
But you did see it.
I don't remember.
Wow.
Maybe that'll be our next assignment, Logan's Run.
Well, the problem is I don't know if it's available anywhere. So that is going to be an issue, too.
Okay.
Not everyone has 3 copies of it on DVD and Blu-ray and VHS and special editions and the Donner cut like you do, Scott. Because everything is the Donner cut, just to let you know.
Every single thing is
I didn't
the
tell
Donner
you
cut.
guys. We went to a garage sale a couple weeks ago, and I found the 8-disc Blu-ray edition of the Superman movies, the Christopher Reeve plus Superman Returns, for $4.
And you bought them, right?
I bought them. I bought that big, beautiful blue box set of 8 Blu-ray Superman movies, all the different cuts and so many different extras of everything. It's gorgeous. $4.
Did you go back and demand your $3 back? Because there's only one worth $1 in there.
I felt like I should give him more money for it.
You know what, Scott? I have a garage full of stuff. You might want to come over here.
Don't tell my wife.
I don't think I have anything you'd want. I did find a Star Trek comic book in one of my boxes, and I'm like, I don't even know how that ended up in there.
Really?
It must have been one from a free comic book day kind of ride bag thing, because I'm like, this wasn't purchased by me.
This is not mine.
No. So maybe I'll give that to you, Scott.
Maybe. Okay. So was there any news this week?
Any news? Well, I guess I'll start. I watched trailers. I mean, the other news that's out there, I guess there's some stuff, but I just watched a couple of trailers that I thought were good. Not the Friends reunion trailer. That is stupid as hell. I am not watching. Ugh. Are you guys Friends fans?
No.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Only the episodes with the monkey.
What are you talking about? It's stupid. They're doing the lightning round in the trailer. One of the best episodes from that series. Come on. The series is fantastic.
Once they got rid of the monkey, it just went to crap.
Marcel, the monkey, yes.
I tried. So Molly has a show called The First Six that she was doing. And they would watch the first 6 episodes of a show and give their thoughts. So she said, we're going to do Friends. Can you and Mom watch it with us? I wanted to pluck my own eyeballs out. By the time we got to 6, I was like, how did anybody watch this?
I love it.
It made it 10 seasons.
I love it.
10 seasons.
I've seen Friends seasons 1 through 10 Probably a dozen times or more.
Wow.
Oh my.
I mean, we used to like go to sleep with it on Nick at Night, when it used to be on Nick at Night recently, and
Yeah.
Okay, you know it's not funny, right?
I love it.
Okay, but you know it's not funny, right?
I love it. I love Chandler. I love Joey.
Oh God, I hate Chandler.
No,
Chandler made me legit
could
mad.
you be any more wrong about that?
Oh. See, I can even accept some parts of Seinfeld are funny, but Friends, just no.
No, all parts of Seinfeld are funny. That show's hilarious. Scott, you're on thin ice. No, you know what? It's people's opinions. I remember we watched the first season of Friends, and it was okay. I think what I liked, and it was before she was famous, I think what I liked was Jennifer Aniston.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, I think that's all I liked. And then from that point on, it was like, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I think it didn't get good until middle of season 2, and then it had, and of course, hold on.
You think season 2 is when it caught it got interesting?
Middle of season 2, I think it started getting really good.
Really?
Two through about.
So are you saying I'm going to have to watch this thing at some point, like season 2?
Rob, you're an old man. There's no point for you to go there. I mean, you go back to Golden Girls and enjoy that, and that's fine because
that was also something I never watched, and I had friends that
Golden Girls are great.
Oh yeah, I love.
Friends were in our 20s and like, oh my God, Golden Girls is so awesome.
Golden Girls was. I mean, I was in my teens when Golden Girls was on, and that had more influence on me than I care to admit.
I mean, I don't know how much influence it had. I mean, it was a great show.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, just like Friends. Friends didn't really like have an influence. I just enjoyed it. It was just a fun show to get in. A lot of I just liked the characters again because it was a fantasy world that you would never get to live in. By the time I was their age, like I was married. Had a real job, unlike these fools who are living in these New York apartments that there's no way they can afford.
Right.
Fun show. That's all it was. It's just like I like the characters. I like their interaction. They all brought something different to the table. That's why I liked it. Living Single though is probably a little bit better. That's a show a lot of people missed.
I watched a few of that too. That didn't get me either. And I can't tell you whether it's better or not. It didn't.
Yeah, me either.
But Friends, I was just shocked at how unfunny I found Friends. I just sat there watching it going, I don't get, and people quote it and people think it's hilarious. And I'm like,
I quote it all the time still.
Oh, well, that's why you're not funny a lot of the time, Alil.
That's okay.
Let's be honest about it.
I have friends seen it. We'll have to play it when you guys come over. I'll put it up in the backyard on the big screen. We'll play some Friends seen it, even though you guys have never seen it.
Right. I won't get anything.
So lose the
other than they'll be like, "Did you notice Joey's hair in this one? Did he have any gray? Seen it." That's what you'll get. That kind of stuff.
Was his hair standing up because the monkey licked it?
No.
Anyways, there was a trailer. I watched.
Jean-Claude Van Damme made a cameo in the series. That's all.
Okay, now you're starting to draw me in.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little interested now.
And Paul Rudd was in it for a couple of seasons.
Was he?
Huh. Yeah, he married Phoebe at the end.
Spoiler. I was going to watch it until right now.
Well, you're a decade plus too late, so
yeah.
I think there's a time limit on when you can be spoiled. But yes, a lot of fans are upset that Paul Rudd is actually not in the reunion.
Huh.
And I'm like, well, because he's a giant movie star now compared to everybody else on this show, so of course.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, he's close with a lot of the cast. He's talked about it in several interviews recently. So my guess it was a scheduling thing. So I mean, he is doing Ant-Man, Ghostbusters, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So
yeah.
So sorry, Scott, to cut you off. Your trailers.
He's a little bit busy, so.
So Venom.
That's what I saw. I saw the trailer for that.
Let there be carnage.
Garbage.
You don't think? No, I haven't seen the first one, but they both look like so much fun.
Elliot. Alil calls it "Let there be garbage."
I am so okay. I hope that stupid breakfast scene is not in the movie. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that slapstick comedy in my Venom. Like, that is not Venom Lethal Protector. That is not Venom Symbiote Menace to Spider-Man, which I know we're not getting Spider-Man here, but that comedy, I did not like his other voice singing while he's trying to make toast and then this stupid ketchup bottle garbage. Like, this is garbage. I do not want this. I didn't mind Woody Harrelson. Should have had the hair he had in the end teaser in the first movie, like the big red, poof of hair like Cletus Cassidy. But
sure,
no, this is no.
You think they're trying to get the Deadpool crowd?
No, because Deadpool's a different kind of comedy. Deadpool's our comedy. Deadpool is my kind of comedy where it's all, inappropriate jokes. I don't know if we're.
Oh, you're into that?
Oh yeah, he loves to. Yeah, he loves to show it to his kids.
Right. My kids have seen Deadpool. Not 2 yet. Not when he has the baby penis.
Baby penis.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, he gets half his body torn off, so his body regenerates, and
right.
He has little baby legs and a little, you don't see it.
There is that funny scene when he's standing there.
Yes. It's terrible.
I haven't seen 2 yet. I've seen 1. 1 was awesome.
Well, and they have a 2 version where it's censored.
Yeah, right. Don't watch that one.
The Christmas one, but that's the one I let my kids watch. They can watch.
Is hilarious, Scott.
I'll get around.
Really
there
funny.
Is a fantastic cameo in 2 as well.
Oh yeah.
I'll spoil it. Brad Pitt. You'll see him show up somewhere. That's it.
Could have been John Krasinski. That would have been a fantastic.
No, they're not going to waste that. That's not. We don't know if that's happening. I need it to happen.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen?
Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
We're hoping.
That people have been saying that for so long.
For at least 5 years.
And I mean, it's one of those rumors that comes up. They're like, and they'll say like, oh, Kevin Feige let it slip that this might be a thing. No, he hasn't.
Well, Krasinski did say in an interview, I think it was last summer, that like he loves it and he would jump at the opportunity. Emily Blunt recently said in an interview that she's not really interested in superhero movies. She is upset that she passed on Black Widow because she wanted to work with the cast.
Sure.
But not because it's a superhero movie. So it's like you hear, husbands say, because like the rumor was it'd be both of them as Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic. But if she doesn't want to do it, I don't care. You can cast anybody. If you give me Krasinski, I'm fine. And I would love Rain as Dr. Doom. I mean, I think that would make the entire series if Dwight Schrute was Dr. Doom.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. What a casting. Is that a rumor? I haven't heard that one.
No, that's just my rumor. I've been saying that for a while now, that's who should play Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I don't usually listen to you, so that's
I know you don't, which is fine.
But that's a good one, Alil. You know what?
That would be some awesome chemistry.
I think you listened to Nuff Said, because that sounds like something that I would have said.
Well, I was on the show with you.
Oh, you were? I don't remember that. Oh, I love trolling you.
So terrible. So back to Venom. Venom's garbage. I am not happy. This trailer made me not want to go see it. Made me want to wait for video on demand.
Did you like the first one?
I thought the first one was passable based on what they did. It's still not Venom. I don't understand how they're doing a Venom without the Spider-Man piece of it, because that is the whole purpose. That's the whole thing they kind of tied everything together,
Yeah.
gave Venom the powers that he has.
Right.
A lot of his look is based on Spider-Man. Like it's still tough. It's still tough to see that. But I gave it a pass. I said, you know what? They did a pretty good job on it. You did some good things. You know, this is a world without Spider-Man. Fine.
There was a weird tonal issue though with it that is based in that comedy, which I think is what we saw here. Here they like leaned into it, and in that first one, it wasn't there, but there was a touch of it, and I remember watching it, feeling that was a little out of place. It felt like a C movie, you know,
Yeah.
but like a really fun C movie. Like the stuff that was fun was really fun.
It's a popcorn flick, but
it's a popcorn flick. But it
not
wasn't
one I revisit.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't good. The stuff that I liked in it definitely kept me coming back. I'll watch it again. But Venom 2, that trailer looked like hot garbage, and that the comedy stuff, that breakfast thing, cut that the hell out of there. Cut out the thing how, like, something I thought the first time around too was when Venom was talking, the voice seemed like it's supposed to be coming from inside his head or, you know, like that. But it sounds to me like some voiceover guy standing with a microphone in the back of the thing with it really piped up like this. I'll get that, you know? And you're like, what? It doesn't feel like the space is right. And in the trailer, it felt the same way. I felt like, okay, they did the scene and they came up with their funny lines for Venom to say, and this guy's standing in an isolated sound booth doing Venom's voice. Yeah, it bugged me. I wasn't into it. And I'm going to hate myself when I buy it on Blu-ray. Although maybe I won't, because I
didn't buy the first one, and that's a rarity for me, especially with these superhero movies, because
It was $3 at Family Video. So
I still wouldn't buy it.
No, I did. Completely.
I even bought Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, and I would not buy it.
I did too, but I got it for $1. The completist part of me was like, yes, but that is broken now. And I'll tell you what broke it very specifically, because superhero movies, yeah, man, I buy them. Wonder Woman, 84, not buying. Done. New Mutants, not buying.
Yep.
Carnage, I mean, I guess the jury's out until we see it. You know, all we've seen is a trailer. Trailers can be all over the place.
The only thing I'm hoping for is a really good Cletus Cassidy. If Woody Harrelson can steal it and
did you get that vibe off of him though?
I don't know yet. I don't know because I don't know what they're doing with it. It seems like they're doing a lot of the stuff that's happened in the last few years with Venom and Carnage. With there's a scene where you see the jail cell, and there's a character right now called Null in the comics. I haven't read the entire run, so I'm not an expert.
Sure.
But there's a whole thing with this cult of carnage kind of thing going on. People are worshiping the symbiotes, and so I think you got some stuff of that. Like, and there's that one shot where you see Carnage and like the church window behind him, kind of thing, and that was a cool shot out of the comic. It was straight out of the comic. I'm hoping. That's all I can say. Is I want less of the slapstick stuff with Venom and Eddie. I get doing once in a.
I don't know, man.
You know what? I would have been okay if they left the one scene where he said he was going to eat the store clerk. If they didn't go with the whole breakfast scene, like that's where I'm at. Like I could take
so you could have
take a couple jokes here and there.
You could have given it a pass at that point.
Yeah, if you cut that breakfast scene out and then give me a minute and a half trailer instead of 2 minutes,
okay,
I would have been like, okay, I'm going to see it. I'm still going to see it, but I wouldn't be so down on wanting to see it.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's I'm going to go back to it's not good.
No,
it's not good. But c'est la vie, right?
Yeah.
There's ways they can fix this. I have this whole mapped out in my head, but if for us to talk about it, we'd be here for another hour. So I'm not going to do that tonight.
Okay. Because we got other things to talk about.
Yeah.
What other trailers did we see? I know there was something else I watched. The Wonder Years one was fine. It's the Wonder Years. It felt like the Wonder Years, but I like Don Cheadle's voiceover on it.
Yeah, I don't plan on watching it.
So no. I won't. I mean, it'll be one that'll probably be on. I'll watch a few minutes of it at some point, just like Young Sheldon. I watched maybe 2 episodes. It was like, okay, I get it. And now I don't need to see it anymore. I can't think what else. There were other trailers. That Green Knight one looked cool. If not a little dragged out. People are freaking out over it, and I'm like, I'm not freaking out. It looks okay. Looks better than Friends, I'll tell you that right now.
Nope.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't watch the Fear Street one, but the images look good. I was reading online, people were like freaking out. I was a little too old for R.L. Stein's Goosebumps. Alil, I know you were. I
did not watch Goosebumps.
Brought up on Goosebumps, I'm sure.
No.
No.
Come on.
I've never seen
5 and 6 years old watching a Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. You think Goosebumps did anything for me? No.
No.
Not at all. Like, I remember seeing some of those things. My kids watch them now. Like, I'll find the old Nickelodeon, right? Because it's Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah, and they're like, thank God Dad's been scaring the hell out of us. Ted keeps making us watch The Strangers. Oh, my God.
That's tame, The Strangers.
Not when you're like a 10-year-old watching home invasion movies.
I'm going to make them watch The Purge to learn how to avoid The Purge.
Oh yeah,
all the Purge movies.
We all watched that. It was called The Insurrection.
Oh,
Did you hear that they're making Attack the Block 2? That's news.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first one. I've heard that's good though.
It's really good.
Oh,
John Boyega and Jodie Whittaker.
Hmm?
Yeah, and Nick Frost.
Oh wow!
It's
okay.
It's a fantastic movie, and I'm really happy they're doing it too. And John Boyega's attached. Sweet Tooth looked good. I think that's going to be good.
I don't know anything about it, so I'm just
I don't either. But the trailer was good, and Iron Man produced it. So
yeah, but he's producing a lot of stuff, so it's good for him.
Yeah. I think probably the biggest news that Alil doesn't care about, but Scott and I do, is that Dune is going to be released in theaters and not on HBO Max. So they're pulling back on that and putting it in theaters. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I keep hearing conflicting things. I know you posted that, but then like right after I heard that they are going to put it on Max. But
I haven't seen
I think there's going to be I think there's going to be a window, theatrical window. I think it's only going to be a couple weeks though.
Sure.
Yeah, because apparently the next Bond movie is coming out the next week, which will totally eat into Dune's numbers, which is a bad thing. Because
you think Dune is going to be that big?
Yes.
Yeah.
The trailer on YouTube is one of the most viewed trailers ever.
Yeah, Dune
has.
You know what? So is BVS. So is Justice League. All those, like every time there's a new movie, especially like a new type of property, it becomes the biggest trailer. Like we hear it all the time. I'm telling you, I don't think Dune is going to be breaking box office records here.
I think Dune has cultural roots like Lord of the Rings did.
I was just going to say,
because when Lord of the Rings hit theaters,
this is a Lord of the Rings type thing.
Way better. Yeah, Lord of the Rings did like massively better than they expected.
But Lord of the Rings did better. I didn't know crap about Lord of the Rings. I didn't read the books. I mean, I remember the cartoon as a kid. I wanted to see it because of the visual effects. Like, when I saw the trailer, I was just like, wow, this is something different. And when I saw Fellowship, I was blown away because up until then, CG effects and everything and seeing those guys small compared like that was never seamless like it was in that movie. That's why that movie blew up. Just like Avatar. Avatar's story and everything is hot garbage. It is every other movie we've seen already. It's Pocahontas. It's it's all these stories mishmash, but it was like the visual and the 3D is what made it what it was. Dune in the trailer, I don't see anything that I haven't seen before. We've seen Star Wars
the problem
movies,
with that,
and everything else.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that so many things that came after, like Star Wars, stole from Dune.
Right.
You know,
I get that.
and that's that does have that, but I still think it has a cultural cachet to it that people are going to at least want to give it a thing. And it has Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya as
I
two of the leads,
It's...
and the rest of that cast. And like I've said before, even if this doesn't turn out to be a great movie, I will still buy the Blu-ray just to watch that cast farting around in the desert for 2.5 hours, because that's such an incredible cast.
For Timothée Chalamet? Really?
And then Dave Bautista, Oscar Isaac, just so many names like that. It's just full of people.
Watch Moon Knight when it comes out to see some more Oscar Isaac. Watch some Guardians of the Galaxy to see good Dave Bautista. For Zendaya, you got
but I love Spider-Man. The Dune story too. I love the story of Dune.
I think this is where Alil's not connecting on it. The people that love Dune, and Dune is a huge property. It is like a Lord of the Rings size property. The people that love Dune are waiting. This is going to be a big film. Is it going to reach the levels of Lord of the Rings? No. Number one, it is pretty heavy science fiction. That is going to be something that's going to work against them in that respect. As far as reaching the levels of a Lord of the Rings, the fantasy thing was hot because of Game of Thrones. There's a lot going on there, but the fan base is like huge.
Yeah, it is deeper than you think. Yeah,
and I have a feeling that when this comes out, because of COVID and all this stuff, we're not going to see the numbers that it really could have done. But I think you're going to do a lot more than you expect. I think it's going to do enough that they're going to say, okay, let's stick with this.
And I'm not calling out the young person card here, but anyone that I talk to, like in my age group, no one cares. No one's really even heard. They remember some TV movie from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No one's read this stuff here, so I don't know if it's an age thing here.
It could be, but I don't think so. I think it's going to have.
They've taken so long to bring this to the screen. Maybe they lost out on getting into that early geek culture. I don't know. I mean, I could be completely wrong here, but it's like I look at like Star Wars has always been around.
But I think if it's good, I think if it's really good.
If it's really good, it's going to get
it's going to get huge. If it's not really good, I think it's going to be one that the fans go, "Oh, I love it," and it's not going to reach the general population like it needs to be a huge property. But I think it does. I think it has that potential, man. So that's where I sit on it. Hey, Fonzie, sit on it.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Speaking of Fonzie, yes. Let's hear it, Scott.
So do we want to do? So we're going to do. So we're going to count down the Disney 5 for my ranking 5 to 1, and you guys are going to tell me when I'm wrong and when I'm right.
Okay. Let's do it.
What's the worst Disney Star Wars movie then, Scott?
All right. Just one story I got to tell. I love this. I still remember the day I got the alert on my phone that Disney had bought Lucasfilm and was going to make new Star Wars movies. I was at work in the office and just walking along, and I got the alert on my phone, and I pulled it out and I looked at it, and you just stare at it, and you just like, am I reading this? Did somebody hack my phone and send me a fake text to get my hopes up and then dash them later? Is this real? Is this really happening? I didn't even know you then. But I don't think I did. It would have been around 13 or 14. But yeah, so this, so I was absolutely looking forward to the sequels and new movies and new projects. And it's not quite what I expected, but what I did get that I liked, I really liked. But let's start at number 5. The least liked is The Last Jedi. And I know this is the most divisive one. And I can see the argument of the fans who like that it, they're like, oh, it did something different. It's so well constructed by Ryan Johnson, and it messes with these archetypes and these tropes, and it's like I can see all that, and I can appreciate Ryan's other work. Knives Out is awesome. It's a fantastic mystery film. But this was not the right approach for Star Wars. He was trying to break tropes and and subvert these tropes and expectations. And the problem is Star Wars already did that in 1977, and it kind of set what the tone should be for any of the following films. And Ryan just really missed that. And I like all 5 of the Disney 5. I can't bring myself to absolutely hate The Last Jedi because it has a lot of good scenes and has a lot of fantastic concepts. Luke using, the illusion thing, that's from the Dark Empire comic, that type of thing. Even the training with Rey is good stuff. The scene where Kylo Ren masks what he's doing so that he can cut Snoke in half with a lightsaber, but Snoke thinks he's going to kill Rey. That's an amazing scene. And, like the joke that goes around, Adam Driver had to have back surgery from carrying the new Star Wars trilogy.
Really?
That exists for a reason. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. But, and I know, yeah, he did. And I know this is the other controversial one, but the character of Rose Tico is just an awful character. And I hate that Kelly Marie Tran was bullied and attacked. That's disgusting. I denounce it. But the character was awful. And her story arc just did not belong in a Star Wars movie of this. It could have been in like one of the saga movies or the Star Wars stories like the Solo or the Rogue One, one of the side projects. It could have worked in that. But in a mainline saga where we want the focus on General Organa and Jedi Master Luke Skywalker and the up-and-coming Jedi Rey, she was just a distraction.
I can't argue with you on your points with that because I think Ryan Johnson... The problem is you're building a cohesive trilogy, and everything that we got in episode 7, like Ryan Johnson just didn't follow through. And,
right.
You set up a character like Finn and he does nothing with it. You set up a character like Poe Dameron, he does nothing with him. I mean,
well, what he does with Poe is he has him commit a mutiny. And I'm like, there's character growth, but that's not the good character growth.
I mean, outside of a few good moments, like I liked Luke fighting at the end.
Yes.
I can't argue with you being that your 5th. I mean, I probably have a different movie as my 5th, but
I know which one you're going to say.
One of Scott's favorites. It's Solo, but
that's not my top favorite.
But yeah, they totally ruined this trilogy in that movie.
Yeah,
that's the problem, because then the next one, JJ's trying to reconnect everything from 2 disjointed movies, and then that falls apart. So,
yeah.
So all right, I agree with you on your 5th. I'm not going to argue with your 5th place. I don't know, Rob.
I'm not going to argue with you on that being your 5th place either. That one for me, God, it was just the most boring chase in history. I mean, like, really, that's the part I had a problem with. And I mean, there's 2 main things, but they can zip across the space, boom, they're there. And then we've got about 7 miles to go, and we're going to put it in, the lowest gear and go a quarter mile an hour. And, they're getting away from us. We're going to get you. I'm watching it going, what in the hell?
It was like playing Atari.
Again, outside of a main Skywalker saga film, you could have done an interesting story about a low-speed chase in the Star Wars universe. That could have been done, but not in Episode 8.
I agree.
One of the things I've thought is there's an alternate universe where The Last Jedi is the Citizen Kane of the Star Wars saga. Because you can tell that Ryan was really swinging for the fences. But the timelines got crossed and it fell into our universe, and it's just simply the wrong movie for what should have been in Episode 8.
Okay.
Oh. You want to move on to 4?
No, I'm not done.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I got one more thing, and Alil is 100% right. So mark that down, Alil. You are 100% right.
As usual. But...
They wasted the characters. Now, I watched the first 2 today. Watching the first one, I had fun with it. I was actually surprised how much fun I had with it. The second one, there's parts I was having fun with, and like there were some really great visuals going on. But boy, you're right, Alil. They wasted Poe. They wasted Finn. Like, it's like they forgot who the movies were about. It just was disjointed. And then it was like they had to force this Princess Leia thing into it that didn't make sense, and like all of it was just it just didn't work. And Kylo Ren was a much better character in the first one.
Yeah.
Once again, there were things I liked in the second one, but it was just kind of a hot mess. And when you don't have Harrison Ford, chewing it up a little bit,
right?
Not quite as interesting.
Well, and I think that's the problem with this entire trilogy, right? It's
it doesn't have Harrison Ford.
Well, it did in the first and the last, right? But the fans who have been waiting for a sequel trilogy to the original trilogy, all anybody wanted to see was the 3 of them on screen together again.
Yes.
We don't even get that moment.
Right.
And that's the thing, I think.
No, we wanted the 4 of them. I wanted to see Chewie and Han and Leia and Luke.
Well, Chewie's there, of course. Chewie's
right,
there.
But I wanted to see that team all in one spot.
Agree.
Yeah.
And
if they had managed one good scene of them as part of a heist, even them being old and hobbling around and with the younger ones, but that would have saved so much of the new trilogy.
Let them have their Ocean's 11 moment, and it would have been fantastic.
The thing is, though, is I do wonder if the only reason Harrison Ford came back was because he said, "You have to kill me." Like, I do not want to come back for these.
I've heard.
I don't get it.
He wanted Lucas to kill him in Empire Strikes Back. He wanted him to die instead of been frozen in carbonite.
Right.
And I get that. Actually, that was that's something that I can see his point on, because the stakes were not. They put the stakes up high in Empire, but the stakes in Jedi, even though everyone's like, "Oh, the stakes are so high," they're really not high. You never feel like one of your main heroes is going to die.
No.
Yeah.
So I could see you should have pulled the rug out from under him. So having him die in the first one in Episode 7, spoiler, he's dead.
At the hands of his son.
Yeah, that was okay, we're going to show you we've got some stakes here. Yeah, but then the tone didn't continue.
Right.
The tone didn't continue. And it felt like they just threw characters in because it was like, oh, so-and-so was in a movie with so-and-so. Let's make them a character. And like Kelly's character, she's fine. She didn't deserve any of the backlash. None of them deserve backlash. They're just trying to do their job and make a movie. But they had nothing for her character to do. And as it goes on, John Boyega got the short shrift too.
Right.
He did. And
watch him in that first movie. When he has the lightsaber battle and he's actually fighting, you're like, there's something going on here. And then
he should have been a Jedi.
There's nothing going on there.
And even if they didn't do that, they should have let him sacrifice himself in that second movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The way he
absolutely.
was planning on doing it to help the rest. Like his sacrifice now is going to continue on this fight.
Yes.
And rather than have that whole love triangle thing going on,
that didn't work.
No.
You know, because then there's a is Poe into Rey, like all these weird things. It's like it's I don't know why you're even doing this,
right?
And I think that's why a lot of the fans were mad with it. It's just I don't know. Were they? You kill Han Solo, shouldn't be afraid of everybody. To me, nobody's off limits.
Right.
And then at the end of this, you kill Luke. So,
but it's a soft kill. It's a soft kill.
And Leia dying. Leia dying. Carrie Fisher died before the movie was released, and in enough time that they could have reshot it. What I think would have been a stronger way to let her go was to swap her and the Laura Dern character. Have Leia be the one to pilot the kamikaze ship attack.
Not have floating frozen Leia in space.
It would have been after, but and then have
awful.
This new person, Admiral Holdo, have to step into this position, and we see her have to grow and learn the characters and stuff. I think that would have been a much better way to let Carrie Fisher go than, as we saw in the third one, used a little bit of CGI to paste her into a few scenes, which was okay, but yeah. So just so many mistakes made there, and
especially because that would have been her son killing her, right?
Yeah,
wasn't that Kylo with that?
Well, that's when. Yeah, well, that's when he was shooting at it.
Should have had when he was going in, and you thought, oh, he might kill her accidentally. Kill her there. And now it's an accident, even though it isn't, but it is. And then he's got to wrestle with that. Give him something to fight with internally instead of like, I almost killed my mommy. No.
But, having killed both your parents and still feeling the call of the light, that would have been amazing storytelling.
That would have been the way to go. And let,
problem is the fans would have never, you kill Han and Leia.
Yeah, but then you don't kill Luke.
Right.
Nobody. Well, no, I agree with that. Like Luke should have never died at the end of end 8. Like the way he did,
it was a punk way to go.
Forcing, whatever, illusioning himself across the galaxy. Whatever. It was just
whatever.
Dumb.
It was.
Yeah.
Dumb. The movie was dumb. That's all I have to say. Dumb.
Yeah.
Okay. So
even though I liked the fact that Luke was an ass and a little whiny little B, because I always thought Luke Skywalker was a little bitch.
Now, why do you say B the first time and the second time you say bitch?
I don't know. It's because we're a Patreon, so we can be a little.
That's
little
right.
soft.
We can say
a little
bitch.
edgy.
You can say bitch on here.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's going to get power converters. I always hated the character of Luke Skywalker.
But that's the thing is that he does grow over the trilogy. You see him as this snotty little kid, and then he grows and he sees the good in his father. But then, like, he has a bad dream about his nephew and almost kills him.
Exactly. Well, that's again Rian Johnson with some bad writing.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing where you usually hate the idea of studio interference, but this is the kind of time when Kathleen Kennedy should have said, I think we need to dial that back.
Kathleen Kennedy probably ain't any better. Like, it should have been Dave Filoni.
Yes.
Should have been overseeing this stuff and saying, hey, no.
Yeah, that's not how this works. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well, we're ready to move to number 4 then?
Number 4.
I think we can be quick with number 4.
Can we?
Solo.
What? I agree.
Yeah. Again, I don't hate it. There's a lot more fun parts, and it fits easier into the canon and into what we expect from Han Solo and Lando Calrissian. It fits better into that. It's just not a well done story. It was originally done by the two guys that did the Lego movie, like Lord and Miller, and they've done some other
who
stuff.
did Spider-Verse.
They did Spider-Verse, right?
They would do so much better.
So, apparently Lucasfilm didn't, or, Kathleen Kennedy, whatever, didn't like that Solo was so funny, and she brought in Ron Howard, who has done, some amazing stuff like Apollo 13, but he came in more as a tradesman in this case and just shot the scenes to be shot. And you end up with an amusing heist movie. The twists and turns with the betrayals and the double crosses and stuff. It's fun, and it's neat hearing about why the Millennium Falcon has a most peculiar dialect.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's fun, but it's just mainly inconsequential. Of course, what's his name? Glover? Is that his name?
Yeah.
As Lando Calrissian, it just steals the show.
Exactly. Right. If it wasn't for him, this movie would be 10th place.
Yeah.
The droid, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I love Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I love the stuff she does. Hated her character in this. I hated that droid that was hitting on Lando, and I don't know, man. It just
Lando was into it. That's the whole thing. That's
there's like that could have been a whole other Lando movie.
Right.
And
I just thought that whole thing just didn't work for me. I thought that she was just kind of a crabby droid, like she was complaining about stuff a lot, and it didn't connect. You need somebody like in the last one, what's his name? KRS-One or whatever. He was.
Did you say KRS-One?
What?
Yeah, man.
That's a rapper.
Yep.
Even I know that.
I'm hip hop with a Z. That character, that was Adam Tudyk did that character.
Oh, yeah. K2SO in Rogue One.
So I was right. KRS-One. He was awesome.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
So I hated her character in this. I'm trying to think how to say this. I think that if it had been the comedy that Lord and Miller were trying to do, we would have really hated this movie.
Really?
I think I do. Because when I watch this movie, to me, it feels like I'm seeing the seams the whole time. And I feel like I'm seeing where it was funny, and then it's not funny. And it simply doesn't work for me when it's trying to be funny.
See the comedy though, Harrison. I mean, the thing with the comedy in Star Wars is that you look at the original, and Han Solo does a lot of the comedy because he's
right. But that's what he needs to be. He needs to be the rogue. Element. He needs to be funny. Like bring.
Yeah, but his funny. But Harrison Ford's funny wasn't funny.
It's not the Lego. Right. It's not the Lego movie funny.
It's
right.
I'm kind of a jerk. It's I'm a lovable
scoundrel.
Dick.
Right.
Yes. It's what he is. He's cocky, he's arrogant.
Well, and he actually in the second movie or the first movie, that's who he was. Like he stayed kind of a grumpy dick that you kind of liked,
Yeah, but he had great scenes, especially like when he was yelling at Finn, like that's not, or when he's saying that's not how the Force works. It's funny, it's a good scene, but it's like Harrison Ford could pull up. This kid couldn't. No. This kid didn't have it.
I don't know. I heard he had trouble in this one. I'm telling you, I think that the original script, they were going for comedy. They were trying to do the Marvel thing, where each Marvel movie is kind of in a genre. Like this is the mystery, this is the action, this one is the comedy one, which was Ant-Man mixed with action. But I think that they were trying to do that.
Rudd, you get somebody who fits. You get people who fit those roles.
Right. But that tone going comedy would not have worked here. And I think that they were watching it, they're going, this doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie at all. And this, when the comedy is toned down, I did feel it. I felt like the action. I heard a lot of that action stuff was simply not there. It doesn't make sense that they have to do a train heist. Couldn't they just fly and pick stuff up? There's some really dumb things like that in this. But I did have fun with this. But I would say I'm torn if this is number 4. What is it, 5? Are there 6
4.
4.
There's 5.
If this is number 4 or number 3. But I did actually really like this one.
Okay.
To me, the my guess is the bottom 3 are all tied for crap. I mean, they had a couple good scenes each. There's a couple good scenes each, again with characters, but they're not the main characters. Like Donald Glover, fantastic. Woody Harrelson, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Nothing else in the movie I cared about. Yes, love seeing Chewie as always. Great.
Right.
I think Alil's about to make us mad. So yeah. I think we're in agreement on what 4 is. I can go with that.
Okay.
I'm going to make you mad.
So number 3 then.
Well, you just said 5, 4, and 3 are all tied for crap.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, Alil says that. So my 3 is The Rise of Skywalker.
Crap.
Slightly more enjoyable because
No.
Abrams went and put more of that energy that The Force Awakens had.
But again, they forget Finn. What is Finn
Yes.
doing in this movie?
Right.
Well,
Nothing.
yeah, that's not.
They
yeah,
forget Poe. Nothing. The Leia death scene again. I forgive them for it because they were in a corner. You know, they were pitted. This was supposed to be her movie. This movie was supposed to be a lot different.
Yes.
Before she passed. So I get that, but again, I hated Kylo Ren in this movie. Garbage. No, yeah. I don't want him. No. Everything they did here with Kylo Ren to me was horrendous. And then Rey taking the Skywalker moniker again, just so stupid.
No, I like that.
What Skywalker should have been. What a Skywalker should have been is a new type of Jedi. Rey was already, like how they have in the lore the Gray Jedi,
right?
But they haven't really done that here in live action. We haven't seen it really. That's what should have been classified as a Skywalker. Like
that was my theory leading up to this was that Rey would not, she would reject Kylo and the dark side, but she would also see that the strict order of the Jedi was too strict, and she would create this new type of gray Jedi called Skywalkers, and that's what she would be. And we get a little of that when she ignites her lightsaber at the end, and it's yellow instead of being green or blue or red or anything. It's an entirely new color.
Yeah, I think they had yellow ones in Attack of the Clones. I can't remember.
I can't remember.
There's so many lightsabers flying around. I'm sure there was a yellow one in there. Wasn't the original lightsaber yellow anyway?
The original Luke Skywalker toy had a yellow lightsaber because they just didn't have all the production stuff right, but it was blue. It was blue in the first two, blue and red, and then
when I watched it on WG,
that was the washed out VHS
on a 13-inch TV.
Right. That was a problem there. But I still like a lot of what the Rise of Skywalker did. I don't hate that they brought back the Emperor because, excuse me, again, I was a Dark Empire fan years ago. I love Dark Empire. It is absolutely one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars media. It had the Force projection where Luke force projected himself. It had that. And it had Luke falling to the dark side, which they didn't really do here, but they had, Rey tempting with it. But it had the return of the Emperor via a clone body. So when this came up in this movie, I'm like, okay, they're dipping into Dark Empire, so it's not such a surprise to me. And I could tell when when other people were complaining, I'm like, oh, you haven't seen Dark Empire because that was a major storyline happening. I didn't really hate that.
I didn't mind any of that either. Like I didn't mind that the Emperor was the bad guy. You know what? Because he was the bad guy in the prequel trilogy. He was the real bad guy in the original trilogy. Yeah, let him be the bad guy here. I'm fine with it. I'm fine that they brought it as a clone. That we saw cloning here. It's not like cloning is out of the. It's just all crap. It's just how they ended
so
it.
Much
it's just he has a kid, raises granddaughter.
Yeah, that was bad.
You know,
Yeah,
you take all of episode 8 to tell us that she's really nothing. She was just abandoned. There's nothing special about her, which is actually a pretty good thing. There's
that could
nothing
have been
special
interesting.
about
Yeah.
you. You take this into the thing. It's just kind of like I look at the the mantra now. Like anybody can be Spider-Man. You know, he's got the mask on. If you have the powers, great power comes great responsibility. You want to do something like that with Ray? Fine. Like that. At the end of episode 8, I was like, fine, because especially because you see there's scenes at the end of that where you see other kids with force power.
Right.
And that's where I'm like, oh, she stole the books. We're going to get, a mashup. She's going to take the best of the Jedi.
It was setting up Jedi Academy.
She's going to leave her. She's going to allow her feelings to be a part of it because, you don't suppress them because that's not really a good thing to do.
Right. That's what led Anakin to fall.
Now you become a Skywalker instead of a Jedi. You're a Skywalker.
I like that idea. And that also explains why there's so many Force users out there that, they make this whole thing about how there's all the Jedi were killed and all this. They're all over the place. They may not be Jedi Knights, but they've got Force users. Let's have some new classifications. And
scene where they
and Luke should not have died. It should have ended with Luke, old man Luke, taking and he's the Dumbledore of this Jedi Academy.
Even let him die and have Rey be that, but him there as the Force goes.
It's so easy. You kill off 3 humans. Why kill him off? Let him live at the end, but let him be this conflicted character. When it ends, where you're left with this question, well, has he gone to the dark side? That would have been a really interesting way to end it.
Yeah.
Or had him controlled by the Emperor, and that residual is there at the end where you're going, shit. I don't know if he's the hero now. That would have been an interesting way to end the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I agree. 3, The Last Jedi. And I was debating between 3, this one being 3 and this one being 4, because this one has some problems.
It's got a lot of good scenes. So
all 3 of these do.
The opening sequence with Kylo on the planet and he's fighting through those soldiers, it's very, that's the kind of stylistic experimentation that had Rian Johnson done that kind of thing, that would have worked.
Yeah.
But one of the things about both 8 and 9, I feel is a problem is that each of them feel like an episode and a half. Like they tried to cram so much story into each one, and maybe they should have done 6 movies instead, two new trilogies.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is Rian Johnson was trying to change course here. He was trying to force this new okay, this was a lot like A New Hope. I'm going to try this new thing. So he put all this extra exposition in, and then when Abrams got it back, he was like, crap, I have to kind of polish this turd.
Yeah,
to make it make sense, but I want to tell this story, and it kind of fell flat.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you do that. I don't understand why Kathleen Kennedy didn't have. And I'm not saying
because she's not Kevin Feige. That's why.
That's what I'm saying. But
or Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau really are the future.
You have a rule book. That's what you have here. You're telling a story.
Right. But Lucas handed them a faulty rule book. I'm telling you. Lucas himself had a faulty rule book but
Dave Filoni was still there, and Dave Filoni has fixed
could
that
have done
book.
It. I mean, heck, if you
watch
talk about
how uneven those original movies are, not even just the original 3, but the original 6.
No, the prequel trilogy is, to me, I still hate it.
Right?
People are like, oh, it's a lot better now. I rewatched them.
It's gotten better with age. You lean into the fun.
No, the Phantom Menace has huge problems. And it's not just Jar Jar Binks. It's yippee.
Right.
Attack of the Clones 2 is not good. I mean, I get it. You know what?
It's
now
better
if
you watch it without the love scene, the love story. Seriously, I saw it at IMAX when it came out, and they cut 20 minutes out of the film, and it was like, this is a much better movie. and none of that Anakin and Padme frolicking on,
in the grass.
That was all gone. That was all gone. And it was way better. It was way more of a watchable film. And then the Sith one is
that was the only good one. That was the only good one. Enjoyed.
Yeah, it's the only good one. But it's not great. It's good.
It's good.
Star Wars movie. Yeah. Another episode will rank all the Star Wars movies. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Rise of Skywalker. One more thing: the Harrison Ford coming back, which I think the only reason that happened was because Carrie died, and he came back as a favor for Carrie.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's the only reason he came back. And that scene with him and Adam Driver on that wreckage in the water it's a great scene. Because you've got two great actors there doing that.
Yeah, that was one of the better things of this trilogy.
And
better moments.
And even after you see Kylo kind of start coming back to the light, and the way he acts on, when he comes to that final duel, and you see him kind of starting to channel a little Han Solo in the way he moves and acts, and again, it suffers from them not having an overarching storyline written down. It suffers from J.J. Abrams cramming in a course correction from Episode 8, and then also a finish.
A finish without Carrie Fisher, without his
a finish without story. Carrie Fisher,
right. Well, once again, he could have course corrected all of that fairly easily. They botched it when she died, and they didn't have her die at that moment. Right. That's when they botched it.
Yeah,
it was like a fumble into the next movie, and then you're watching it going, it didn't need to be about her. And he killed Luke, and you're like, they shouldn't have killed Luke. Luke should have been there in this movie.
Yeah, they could have re-edited The Last Jedi, over the course of a week and fixed it so that.
I mean, take your three mains, okay? Mm-hmm. Chewie, all the love in the world, but forget Chewie for a second. Take your three mains. You kill Han in 7. You kill Leia in 8. I think the plan was to kill Luke in 8 and have Leia be the last man standing in 9. But she died. So
swap them.
She died while you were in production. So kill her and rewrite that ending so Luke doesn't die at that moment, and have him go to the end. And once again, like I said, don't kill him in 9. Everyone's expecting him to die in 9 then. Don't have him die. Have him leave on a note where you're in question.
You have him severely mentally damaged by doing that force projection thing.
Yeah.
Where he fights, have him messed up.
Have Force Leia save him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If they had done that where they used a little bit of CGI footage of her to help, just a brief thing with her, that would have been okay.
Totally. Totally.
No. All right. Number 2. The Force Awakens. Just an incredible energy. JJ gave it an incredible shot in the arm. The introduction of Rey as this scavenger, and Poe and Finn escaping from the Star Destroyer and, taking the TIE fighter down, and, Finn finding Rey, and they steal the Millennium Falcon. That line, "the garbage will do," and it pans over and it's the Falcon and they take off in it. It gets the criticism for being a copy paste of A New Hope. I see it. I don't care.
Right.
You say the same about Phantom Menace. I mean,
right.
That's what this trilogy. That's what these 3 trilogies are kind of are. It's a copy of A New Hope. It's a copy of Empire, and it's a copy of Jedi.
And hopefully the next trilogy will not be like this.
No. The Skywalker saga is over, so it's going to be completely different.
But so it's just incredible. They did the cantina scene again, but they made it totally different with Maz Kanata and Rey finding the lightsaber in the basement. We're introduced to Kylo Ren. At first we see him in this mask, and we're like, oh, he's the new Darth Vader. He's going to be some scarred asshole. Can we say asshole?
Yes,
scarred a-hole. But then he takes it off, and it's just Adam Driver, and you're like, okay, why has he got the mask then? And you see he's got this hero worship of Darth Vader. It's like, okay, this is a messed up kid. What's he doing?
Grandpa was awesome.
Yeah, and General Organa is the leader of the Resistance, and you see the Star Killer base, which is a callback, to the old Luke Star Killer thing, and the names are a callback, but then it's also a callback to the Death Star, and. Right. And it's a repeat, and it rhymes.
It's a total fan
service, but I still think it does a good job of setting up the these new characters of what they could do. They just fumbled of where they went with them.
I had a blast watching it today.
So that's my question now. Yeah. Like, so if I'm watching these as standalones, I'm not trying to connect standalones. I put this as my number one because of everything it did. It did a great job with
I get that.
Finn, with Poe, with Rey, with our new trio. It set them up for so much. It gave some really great action scenes, some really great lightsaber fight scenes.
The visuals were crazy good. The space battles and that, wow.
We get
BB-8
X-wings.
We get a new cute little droid to love. You know,
we get a mystery of where's Luke. We get Han. We get the emotion of Han's death. This is why, to me, this one is the best out of the Disney trilogy. They came out swinging, and but then they
fumbled
themselves.
Yeah,
they fumbled. The diaper came out.
Well, I'll tell you one reason that happened is they were trying to do one a year. They came out. They did the same thing that DC did, which they were trying to build a Marvel universe fast.
Yeah.
Okay, you already had the Star Wars universe, but you're Disney with Star Wars now. You have to take 2 years between films, at least.
They did 2 years between the saga films, but the others were interspersed.
But they were trying to put too much out too quickly.
And they did not have the creative team necessary to do that.
Right. They weren't. There's no way that they took the time.
They didn't use it because
right. There's no way they took the time to get this all right. There is no possible way, because where it's falling apart is in the writer's room. That's what we're finding right now. Everything else is in place, and that's the problem Lucas had too. The writer's room, and he couldn't direct actors, but the writer's room is where the problem was.
Yeah, Lucas needed somebody long ago.
Well, that's why it was Kasdan that wrote Empire,
right? And that's why it's the best.
That's why Empire is, to me, there's still no.
And Kasdan came back to help, I think, with The Force Awakens.
He did.
Yeah, so that
why that one works a little better.
Feel it and why it makes sense. Why the acting, why every character was fantastic in this movie, and this is why, to me, it's the best one.
Yeah, they fell apart with all the others.
It came up, and that's why, I get what you're saying, why it would be your second, because of then the connective tissue. It's just like when I reviewed and went back and watched, like we're talking DC as a comparison, like Man of Steel. I didn't hate Man of Steel. I thought, especially coming off of watching Superman Returns, I thought Man of Steel was a way step up. It wasn't that bad of a movie. But then I'm connecting Batman v Superman, and I'm like, this whole thing went to garbage.
Right. It did. And you're right.
And that might be, if I'm looking at it as a standalone, Force Awakens to me is the best that Disney did. They came out right away, did their best movie, and then their second best movie which is your best movie with Rogue One.
So you're not swaying me away from Rogue One, and I'll tell you why. I agree with everything you're saying, other than I think Rogue One as a film is a better film. I think that it's there's a lot more intrigue. I like the turmoil of the characters. I like that even though we know we know how it's got to end, you're in for the ride.
Oh yeah.
See, but I didn't fall in love with any of these characters. That's my problem.
Jane Erso,
I fell in love with Rey. I fell in love with Poe. I fell in love with Finn.
I fell in love with Jane.
I knew how this was going to end, and I'm like, I have
I can see that
emotional attachment.
I had it to Jane because I thought Jane was just so interesting to me, and I didn't know if she was going to die or if they were going to pull a fast one in it. And like in the next movie, you find out, she's like another Phasma or something. She's like another one of these characters that's hidden behind a mask, and you go, "Oh shit!"
And they should have.
They should have.
They should have.
They should have tied to Rogue One.
I think, to me, Rogue One, the problem I had was it felt too video game-ish fan service more than
I thought Force Awakens was more
did. Force Awakens was fan service, but I thought it was
that
more
video
game.
game.
If you watch Battlefront, if you play the game Battlefront, like there's the whole scenes of the stormtroopers, attacking. It all felt like that.
That's funny because I didn't feel that. I see what you're saying, especially the stuff on the beach and all that. I could see that being video game, but I don't know. Rogue One to me provided visuals. It was stuff that we've never seen throughout. I felt this connection to Jane, and I really, even watching it recently, I felt like there are missed opportunities with these characters, but I want to know more about them. I went and I bought, what is it, Lost Stars, or is it the Rogue One novel? There's a Rogue One novel. I haven't read it yet, but I heard it's exceptional.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This one this is one where it's like, they're both right there. And I can see your point, Alil. I think on another day I might be swayed by it, but today it's Rogue One for me.
Well, and for me, I mean, if it didn't have the Vader scene.
Right. If it didn't, the Vader scene, but you know what? That general, the guy in the white, he was badass. That was a villain that wasn't a monster. Darth Vader's a monster, right?
Right.
This was a villain that wasn't a monster, that was dangerous. And I think that's what I'm reacting to. We had a level of danger in this movie. There are flaws in it. There are things that I'm like, I don't get what's going on here, or okay, we know they're going to die. But at the same time, even watching it recently, I was completely invested in it.
Yeah, but I don't like Deadeye's Leia or Deadeye's Tarkin. The CGI Tarkin and Leia took me out.
They worked for me
too much.
They worked for me as much as they were going to.
Yeah. So yeah, it's obvious Rogue One is my absolute favorite of the Disney 5. And if we're talking about all 11, I would rank it up there with the original trilogy.
Well, it's a continuation. Literally it takes you into A New Hope. So
yeah. And it like Rob said, it gave us these visuals we'd never seen before. But unlike the prequels, you absolutely believed that this movie happened an hour before A New Hope.
Right.
There's a short story out there by Gary Whitta, who wrote the screenplay, who basically says it's an hour before A New Hope. It ends an hour before.
If you watch that Vader scene and you end there, you watch the movie and you end with that Vader scene, and then you immediately turn on A New Hope. Don't watch the credits. You're going to be sitting there for an hour watching credits. Watch that scene, switch discs or switch to the next thing, go right into New Hope. It's like, it's stellar. It's a great transition. You can't say that about Sith to episode 4. You really can't say that about any of these Disney movies from one to the next. There's no even with the second one, it ends with her handing the lightsaber to Luke, and the second movie they joke it off, but they don't joke it off for like 30 minutes. You're sitting there the whole time like, wait a minute, she handed the lightsaber to Luke, what's going on? And then when you finally get there, you're like, there it is. He chucks it over his shoulder. You're like,
yeah.
Okay, was that supposed to be insulting, or what was that?
Right. Yeah. So that's the thing about Rogue One, is that it slots in so easily that you've seen this story for over 50, close to 50 years now. Rebel spies striking from a hidden base have scored their first major victory. Right. So there's 19 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. 19 years under the Empire. 19 years that this rebellion has just been these little scattered cells, and it's only in a couple of days before A New Hope that they managed this, or right before that they managed this strike on Scarif to steal these plans. And, it really hammers home the war part of Star Wars is, Jen doesn't even want to do it at first. She thinks her father was a traitor, but, she sees the holo message. She meets up with Cassian, who's going to shoot her father, but he hesitates and he doesn't, and like he says, he's been in the fight since he's 6 years old.
Yeah.
You have Chirrut Imwe.
Even that was a great character. This was a character that you were left with going, wow, I just like all the conflict with these characters and how they're gray. You know, they're
Forrest
gray with streaks
Whitaker,
of black.
Forrest Whitaker as the rebel who was too extreme for the other rebels who were basically terrorists.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But Forrest Whitaker was too extreme for them. Like, oh man, this is incredible lore building that they're putting together here. But they're also doing it with these characters that you absolutely love. Chirrut, this guardian of the will, who, is he our Jedi? But no lightsaber. He's blind. He doesn't do the hand wavy thing.
This is where I have an issue with it. I can only remember Jen Erso. The rest of the characters, I don't know their names. And the whole time watching it, I never connected to their names the entire time I watched it originally.
That's my problem with it. There's no connection.
Force Awakens, I got connection. But I know them visually.
Right.
And
that's what matters.
And I get connected to them. And KRS-One, I got very connected to. Yeah.
Yeah, that
was
an incredible mocap performance by Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Who ad-libbed a bunch of his lines apparently.
Did he? It was great. I mean, I loved it. But you know what? Like I said, you could ask me a week from now, and I'm going to go Force Awakens as number one because it is the fan service. It's the fan service that I wanted since
1984.
Nine-year-old Rob saw Star Wars the first time in the theater.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. I've watched Return of the Jedi a million times. Return of the Jedi is not great.
It's still good. I still love it.
It's the third best in the series.
I can see that it really needed an outside writer.
If you're saying the third best out of all the films, no way.
No, probably not.
And but if you include the special edition, it drops way down because that damn scene in Jabba's palace when that stupid song happens
with the honeycomb monster,
it's so bad that it puts it just above Phantom Menace.
That's
really how bad it is. Yeah, I would rather watch Jar Jar Binks than watch that character, but the rest of Phantom Menace gets pretty rough. So Return of the Jedi gets the edge, although the pod race scene is pretty cool.
Yeah, but Rogue One, it's still
it's just fun to watch. It's just fun to watch.
I hate that scene,
but it's dumb. See, I like watching them fly in there. That was it was something different. It was kind of fun, but the rest of it, who cares? Who cares? Midichlorians, please stop it. Somebody needed to go into that writer's room and say, "Stop it. Let's throw this out and redo."
Yeah. Let's just say right now, the best thing ever in Star Wars, the best thing ever is The Mandalorian. Nothing tops The Mandalorian.
That was going to be, I was going to, one last thing about Rogue One, a little bit more about Rogue One is the first 2/3 of the movie, you can tell that it had a last minute change of director because Gareth Edwards did the majority of it. Then they brought in Tony Gilroy, who changed a lot of the ending and whatnot. And you can tell that it feels like chess pieces moving into position, but that last act is one of the finest acts in any Star Wars movie.
And the scenes that Rebel fleet comes out of hyperspace. Solo.
That Rebel fleet comes out of hyperspace over Scarif, and you have that point of view of that fleet coming out over the planet, and they all kind of flip into real space, and then they found the old footage of the X-Wing team leaders and pasted them in.
Right.
And we even hear a Red 5 who dies, opening up the name for Luke to take Red 5 at the Battle of Yavin.
Right.
We see this real look at a space battle that the rebellion has put together. We understand why there were so few ships at the Battle of Yavin because the rest of the fleet had either been taken out at Scarif or it had been scattered to protect them from capture. And then, of course, the ending where they all die. Apparently the early drafts of the script, they weren't going to all die, but Disney said, you can kill them if you want. This is just a one-off. So they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to kill all of them. And it hurts. Every time I watch it, it hurts watching them. And the order they're going to die and how they die. And it still just gets you every single time.
Yeah.
And you know these guys died for a cause, for a reason. They died so that Luke could get his power converters. They died to make the original trilogy happen. And and then of course the Darth Vader in the hallway scene. Which was apparently so last minute that most of the cast didn't know it until they were at the premiere. And they saw it come up on screen. They're like, "Oh my God!" Darth Vader going down the hallway like a bulldozer running over kittens. That horrific image, type of thing. Like, God, this guy is a threat.
Yes.
Oh. But yeah, The Mandalorian was going to be my honorary mention. I was going to do between 2 and 1, but The Mandalorian is
between 2 and 1.
Well, as an honorary mention, just to help build suspense to saying, to getting to number 1.
Oh, okay. Well,
but
there's nothing better than The Mandalorian. Nothing.
The Mandalorian is amazing.
Yeah, I gotta say, I agree with that. It is the best thing, and that's why I said, listen to Favreau. I mean,
listen to Filoni. Listen to Favreau.
I mean, because I'm watching The Bad Batch now. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet,
only
but
3 episodes. Only 3 episodes, and I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch all of the Clone Wars. I need to get to it, but Filoni knows what he's doing, and that's why I'm saying like Filoni had the playbook.
Yes,
it's just Kathleen Kennedy didn't follow it. Like,
right?
I bet they could have. JJ, this is your story. Fine. Here's the pages. Here's what needs to kind of continue. Like, these are the things, because like even Feige doesn't like force upon things. He lets the directors and writers tell their story.
Well, I think they would have done the same thing with they would have done the same thing with Abrams. I don't think Abrams was looking to shoot from the hip. He just wasn't getting the correct showrunner guidance that he should have.
Right. Well, and I still don't understand why Abrams like told his one story then left. The only reason he came back was because they fired what's his face after Fantastic Four.
Josh Trank?
Yeah, Josh Trank.
After Fantastic Four bombed, they're like, let's go in a different direction here.
Can you imagine if that's what we got? Josh Trank? Oh my God.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, this would have been a very different conversation.
But that's my thing right now is like, I know a lot of people were like, oh, the Disney Star Wars is garbage. And I'm like, it's what? Not. Maybe they had a hard time. Maybe they had a misstep there with some of that, but Lucas had his own missteps as well. And I think it's now course corrected with Mandalorian. Like season 1 of Mandalorian was fantastic. I was blown away. And I'm like, if season 2 can match it, or even come down just even a little bit, but it topped it.
Have you seen? Oh yeah. This unnamed bounty hunter. He's got the Boba Fett style armor, but he's got his own way of doing things. And they did a Baby Yoda, and it wasn't a cousin Oliver. They did a Baby Yoda, and you're like, I can imagine the pitch meetings, at Lucasfilm doing this. Okay, we're going to do a Baby Yoda, and everybody look around the room going like, "Oh, that's going to be cringe." But it was amazing. It was perfect. Yeah. They did it with a puppet too. It's a puppet, and it's so funny. Like Werner Herzog, the famous director, was in that first season, and apparently, what they would do when filming was they would film the scene with the Baby Grogu puppet. And then they would take it out and tape the floor and say, okay, we're going to redo it here with blank and we'll CGI it in later if the puppet didn't work. And Werner Herzog would go, you cowards, you absolute cowards, do it with the puppet or don't do it at all.
Right.
And they're like, okay, we'll do the puppet. So the puppet, they did because the puppet had marionette arm strings and rods that they did CGI out, but 99% of it is a puppet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mando the best.
Yeah.
And even when they did
wins, and I think it gives us a bright future for Star Wars because I think they know that it works.
Yes.
And they know they could tell different stories outside.
Right. And they could do the humor. Him arguing with the Jawas, the 2 biker scouts that kidnapped Grogu, and
Grogu.
they kidnap and he punches them, and then the IG-11 shows up and just beats the crap out of them, and that's the kind of in-universe humor that works.
Right.
That Ryan Johnson didn't get right, and even Abrams stumbled on sometimes,
right.
And that's what matters there. Showing these biker scouts is just guys there for a paycheck.
Yeah. All right, are we done? Did we talk it out?
I think we talked it out. I mean, I could go on for hours about Rogue One, but
I can't. I'm getting tired.
One thing on my Tumblr.
How Star Wars is overrated.
Oh my God. So I'm on Tumblr as Scotty Smurf, and I have created the tag always reblog Rogue One. Any Rogue One content I find, I reblog it. So you can go on my blog on Tumblr and find lots of Rogue One stuff. You can also search that tag, always reblog Rogue One, and you'll just find tons of stuff that I find, pictures and commentary that people do, and poems that people do, fanfic that people do. People do so much fanfic of, Jyn and Urso living and being in the rebellion, or they do the coffee shop AU where they're set in real world and, like they're college students and they meet on campus, or, everything, just explorations of these characters and whatnot. And that's one of the things that's kind of helped deepen my love for it, is seeing all these other people's take on the characters and the story and what it means to them.
It's what the Star Wars comics did back in the day when,
absolutely,
with the Marvel run. I mean, I love those. I mean, you kept reading them and you were like, oh God, this is keeping me going. And it's new stories, and like all those Han Solo stories back then. It really did it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's it. Thank you again for supporting us on Patreon. If you have a suggestion for something you'd like us to break down like this, let us know. If it tortures Alil, that's a bonus. Or if it makes Scott go out of order on something. Oh, no! I had to see Scream 3 before the first two? What happens?
I've seen the first two.
Of course you have. But not 3 or 4, right?
No.
I thought he was going to say, is there a 4? Yeah. So once again, thank you so much for supporting the show and for supporting our network. We have lots of new stuff coming, lots of great content on its way. We're about to add the next tier, the next layer to the Patreon, where we start interviewing the podcasters. And it's not just, hey, let's hear about Alil's day at work. I have great questions.
Kind of boring.
No, wait till you hear these questions.
I'm saying my day at work.
Oh, yeah, you're well, I thought you meant just you. Boring.
Well, I am.
My gosh.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be excellent. I just hope people hear it. It's just exciting times. Go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com. We've been adding a lot of things there. We just added, if this works, Charles Skaggs, who's one of our podcasters, has a blog called Damn Good Coffee and Hot. And he shares all of his podcasts on there, but he has geek news like we do on there. And it's really great. I've always enjoyed Charles' stuff. We used to have it on there and I wasn't updating it. I couldn't get it to work. It looks like we finally have a setting where it's going to update as he puts new stuff out. So we should have live blogging on there, which is freaking awesome. And that's really all I have. Please keep checking it out. Lots of cool stuff coming to Patreon. So those of you that are patrons, you're getting stuff. Lots of new shows on the horizon too. Just lots of stuff.
Good stuff.
Social media. Follow me at rsouthgate. You can also follow the company at SMG Pods, and you can find all the links. We'll probably put up a link tree for This Week in Geek and add all of our stuff there, so we don't have to go through it every time. And you can just click the link tree and get it all. But give me a break. I'm building a mountain. It's going to be a while before I start putting the trees on it. So. Alil, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the League of Geeks. That's at LOGEEKZ. It's probably the only place that I would ever tweet things. I'm not really a big social media guy. I know Rob hates it. I just don't go on it often.
I wouldn't go on it I wouldn't do it so much if it wasn't for the marketing aspect of what we do.
I get it, but it gets kind of tedious, and then
I
don't know.
And this is coming from a guy who's an insurance adjuster. Just so you know, he knows.
I'm not an insurance adjuster, so thank you. I'm a risk manager.
Oh, okay.
And you, Scott.
I'm on Tumblr, as I said, at Scotty Smurf, where I like to reblog Magic the Gathering and Rogue One stuff. I'm on Twitter also as Scotty Smurf. I make sure to reblog all the Southgate Media and League of Geek stuff that I see and make sure everybody knows about that. And I'm on Instagram as MiloBloom74, where I like to show pictures of Magic cards.
Cool. Nice. And one last thing, if you're out there hitting a Walgreens, support Red Nose Day. In the past, we've actually made videos, little videos from our company supporting Red Nose Day. This year, we got a little distracted. Somebody had to go and die on us, and it got things a little distracted. I think we know who I mean. But Chris did some really good. Maybe I'll see if I can unearth the Red Nose Day with Chris. That was very funny. And put that out there. But please support Red Nose Day. It's a great cause, and I really encourage people to do it. And I'm already wearing my red nose, as you can see. It's giant and bulbous. So there we go. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Until next time. Enough said.